Hi guys, Luton here, back for another class setup on Arma 3. Now today I'm looking at the AT soldier, that's the anti-tank or just your anti-armor unit. This is a really important class within Arma 3 because of course there is a lot of armor to take out. It's kind of the clue in the name, right? So with this kit, again, it's a quite straightforward kit. It's quite a basic kit, okay? There's no lots of finicky specialness, but I'm giving you a choice of kind of what weapon to use and how I have this class set up and the thinking behind it. So let's take a little look at what we've got going on here. Okay, so first of all, let's go into our backpack now. Just go through the main kit stuff, the apparel. So we've got the Gorilla apparel. I like this one because he has that kind of green jumper and the sort of beigey trousers. Just looks quite kind of basic default, you know, it's quite a nice sort of ground unit. Got the GA carrier rig digital. Again, that works very well with the kind of AT unit sort of loadout setup. It looks the part. And then we've got the carryall backpack olive as well, again just matching that kit setup. And the carryall, obviously you need it because the carryall carrying a lot of items, it can carry a huge amount of space there, and you need that when you're carrying those AT missiles because they're big and heavy. So going through what we're carrying, again we've got the Stanag mags. We're carrying, again, very much like the medic last time, the MX rifle, the marksman rifle. And again, the reason that we're doing that is because, again, you tend to operate at range with this unit. It's not a kind of close-up range unit, but even when you do, the MX is going to perform there, you know, so it's just a great choice to go with all around. Then we're going in, we've got a couple of first aid kits, just 3. Again, you may take some damage. It's pretty good to just always have a couple of first aid kits, so we've got 3 in there. RCO, DMS setup, as I have had before, 4 smoke grenades, again about 6 or 7 magazines of ammo, and then we're coming to the Titan missile, you know, loadout. We've got 3 of these in the bag, and we've got 1 actually in the unit itself. Now, the type of missile we're using is the Titan MPRL Compact. That's the missile launcher there. So we've just got the general items you'd normally take, map, GPS, etc. Then we come into like the helmet and goggles, SF helmet, same combat goggles again, and your laser designator stuff there. So overall, that's your quite kind of basic setup. There's not a lot to really go into massive detail with this one, but it does give you just a look at the class, a look at kind of how this setup is established, and you know what you may be looking at with this kit. You don't need to go overboard, you don't need to carry tons and tons, you don't need to fill your backpack. In fact, that's probably one of the worst things you can do, because with this class, those Titan AT missiles, they really are a huge amount of weight, so you don't want to overload yourself because you're just not going to be able to move, you're not going to be able to run up hills. In fact, I used to carry more than this when the exhaustion mechanics were a little bit differently, and it was just very difficult. As soon as I started to try and play that class, you just couldn't even run up a hill. You'd end up lagging behind your team so much. So you've really got to keep your eye on that weight. But even now, look at this. When, you know, we're right up like 75%, 80% on the weight, and it's because of those missiles. Trouble is, as a unit, you've got to be competitive against the armor. And if you don't take enough missiles, it's just not going to happen. But how does the Titan missile actually function? A lot of people have this issue, okay? So coming in with it, okay, let's just change out. Now you can lock a vehicle. I don't know if I can lock this vehicle next to me because it's a friendly one. Yeah, so I can target it anyway. So I'm targeting this here right now. It's not a lock because it's not an enemy and there's nothing there to sort of fire at, but it's... Oh, it is locking, okay. Now look, I'm not actually doing anything, I'm just standing here like this. See, he's holding it, and that's locked on. Now I can hold it like this, and if that's a solid lock, I can destroy it. I don't want to fire there because I'll kill myself from the explosion. But basically what I did there, just targeted the missile. Wait, hold on, let's just click off. Okay, there we go. So here's the actual off-road. Okay, so I'm just going to press T. And it's locked, and that's good to fire. So it's quite straightforward with this unit, but you also have this mode as well. So let's just go back to it. So here we go. When we're in actually the first person view, now you can fire this without actually locking onto it. You can still lock on. There we go. See, and then it tells you good to fire. But you can fire it free as well. So if I wanted to fire it free, which I will just to show you, I'm going to crouch though. Again, look at how much sway you've got in here. You've got quite a lot of sway by default. Okay, obviously when you calm it down and you just are sitting here for a minute, obviously, see, this is the thing you've got to remember in Arma. When you're moving around a lot, okay, we're not moving around a lot here, are we? But and then you come in to crouch, or whatever, there's more sway, look. Not a lot, but there is more sway there. So when you're in a combat situation, you can imagine that's even worse. Especially if you're out of breath, it's really, really severe. So making sure that you can stay calm and ready and that you're not absolutely exhausted before you fire is important. If you hold your breath, there I'm holding the breath, and you can see it goes nice and steady. But it doesn't last for very long. I'm just holding breath still. And there we go, lose it. So it doesn't last infinitely. So say you want to hit this little hut over here, it's a fly-by-wire system, so you're just going to fire this away. Okay, and then that's how you can do it. But firing this way is a lot more difficult, but the reason you may have for doing this, and this I found out very recently, let's fire that away again. Okay, just firing towards that target. What I found very recently, we were running down a hill, okay, and you might think, well, yeah, you're always going to lock it, right? You sometimes don't have the time to lock it. We were running down a hill, and then just over the brow of this hill came a Mora, and I quickly just went into first person like this, and I just fired away, bam, and I just hit that thing, took it out before it could kill the whole squad. So it's really, really important that you have those dual functionality when it comes to the missile launcher itself, so that you can engage in the locking. The locking is always the primary thing that you should be going for, okay? There we go, lock on this target. I'm not going to take that out because it's in our base, but that's your primary way of locking up a target because it's just guaranteed to hit, okay? Well, it's pretty much guaranteed to hit, providing you've got line of sight, okay? But then, as I say, that backup one, it just gives you that flexibility to be able to engage in a different way, and that's really your role as this unit. So there we go, guys, that's my setup for the AT unit. I hope you enjoyed that one. Drop some thoughts below about it. If you have a different setup for this one, or if you have a different setup for another class that you'd like me to take a look at, please drop that in the comments below. I will be looking at other AT setups, like we have the anti-aircraft setup. That's going to be an important one. There's also like light assault, because as infantry units you can also carry RPGs. If you're not actually an AT unit yourself, you can still take anti-armor stuff. You can take the RPGs. So I will be taking a look at that one and showing you guys how that is. So sometimes you come onto the server and you find that there are no AT slots. Well, that's okay. You can still take this other class and you can still be capable of taking down, or at least damaging, some of these vehicles, all but perhaps the more difficult heavy tanks like the Kuma and stuff. Okay guys, that's all for this one. Thanks very much. I'll see you on the next Arma 3 video.